You wake up and immediately hear another human voice. Before your eyes fully open, someone is already nearby. There is movement around the camp. There is conversation. There is life. For almost all of human history, mornings sounded like this. Silence was rare. Complete isolation was even rarer. Your ancestors evolved surrounded by people. They slept together. They traveled together. They worked together. They survived together. Loneliness existed. But it was not the default condition it often becomes today. Imagine standing on a prehistoric savanna at sunrise. The fire from the night before still glows faintly. Children are waking up. Adults are preparing for the day. Elders are already watching the horizon. Everyone has a place. Everyone belongs somewhere. That feeling may seem ordinary. But it shaped the human brain. It shaped your brain. Modern loneliness feels deeply painful for a reason. For hundreds of thousands of years, separation from the group could be dangerous. Connection increased survival. Isolation increased risk. Evolution paid attention to that difference. Your ancestors depended on one another every single day. A lone human was vulnerable. A connected human was stronger. A connected group was stronger still. Anthropologists have repeatedly found evidence of this pattern. Human beings evolved as intensely social creatures. Relationships were not an optional part of life. They were part of the survival system itself. Richard B. Lee observed this among the Jew/Hoansi people of southern Africa. Food was frequently shared throughout the group. Success rarely belonged to one individual alone. Resources moved through social networks. Generosity strengthened trust. Trust strengthened cooperation. Cooperation strengthened survival. Imagine a hunter returning with food. The hunt is over. The camp notices immediately. Children run toward the returning group. Adults help carry resources. The achievement becomes a shared event. The food feeds many people. The story of the hunt spreads through the camp. Excitement becomes collective. Success becomes social. Moments like this happen for thousands of generations. Your ancestors were constantly involved in one another's lives. Even routine activities encouraged interaction. People gathered food together. People prepared food together. People repaired tools together. People cared for children together. People rested together. People learned together. Social contact was woven into daily life. You did not need to schedule community. Community was already there. The group was not something people visited. The group was the environment itself. That environment shaped human expectations. Your brain still carries many of those expectations today. Part of you still assumes that meaningful connection should be nearby. Part of you still expects familiar faces. Part of you still expects belonging. And that ancient expectation helps explain why loneliness can feel so powerful. Stories played an important role in maintaining that sense of belonging. When the work of the day was finished, the social world continued. People gathered around fires. Children listened carefully. Adults exchanged experiences. Elders shared knowledge collected over decades. Information moved through conversation. Culture moved through conversation. Identity moved through conversation. Polly Wiesner documented how storytelling often continued long into the evening. People were not simply passing time. They were strengthening relationships. They were reinforcing trust. They were maintaining the social fabric of the group. Stories reminded people who they were. Stories reminded people where they came from. Stories reminded people that they belonged. Imagine sitting beside a fire beneath a sky full of stars. The hunt is over. The danger of the day has passed. Someone begins telling a familiar story. Others laugh before the ending even arrives. Everyone already knows it. Yet everyone still wants to hear it again. The story is not only information. The story is connection. This pattern appears across many traditional societies. Humans naturally seek shared experiences. Shared experiences create stronger bonds. Stronger bonds create more resilient communities. Archaeology provides evidence for this cooperation. Researchers have discovered prehistoric skeletons showing severe injuries that healed over many years. Some individuals survived despite conditions that would have made independent survival nearly impossible. How could that happen? Someone must have helped. Someone must have shared food. Someone must have offered protection. Someone must have invested time and energy in another person's survival. Those ancient bones tell a quiet story about compassion. They reveal that human beings often survive through cooperation rather than independence. This challenges many modern assumptions. People often imagine prehistoric life as a brutal competition between isolated individuals. The evidence suggests something more complicated. Competition existed. Conflict existed. Hardship existed. But cooperation existed too. And cooperation may have been one of humanity's greatest advantages. Humans are not the strongest animals. Humans are not the fastest animals. Humans are not the most heavily armed animals. What humans do exceptionally well is cooperate. That ability changed history. It helped small groups survive difficult environments. It helped knowledge accumulate across generations. It helped communities adapt to changing conditions. It helped human beings spread across the planet. Yet the emotional foundation of that success was remarkably simple. People needed people. That truth remained consistent for hundreds of thousands of years. Today the world looks very different. Cities contain millions of strangers. Technology allows communication across continents. Information travels instantly. Money coordinates enormous economies. Yet the human brain remains ancient. Modern psychology continues finding strong links between social connection and well-being. That should not be surprising. Your ancestors depended on connection for survival. The emotional systems that guided them still exist inside you. Part of your brain still treats social disconnection as a serious problem. Part of your brain still seeks belonging. Part of your brain still seeks trust. Part of your brain still seeks community. That ancient inheritance appears whenever friendship feels meaningful. It appears whenever kindness feels valuable. It appears whenever a shared meal feels comforting. It appears whenever a familiar voice brings relief. For nearly all of human history, wealth was not measured by possessions alone. It was measured by relationships. It was measured by trust. It was measured by belonging. Your ancestors rarely faced the world completely alone. They survived because they were connected to one another. They survived because they cooperated. They survived because they belonged to something larger than themselves. And somewhere deep inside your ancient brain, that need for connection still remains today.